do some retweeting. Starting Zencat. Oh no, not! Damn it! Here.
No, I'm not yet.
I don't know, John. We might have to go out and come back in.
You tell me.
See if Tom joins.
All audio uploaded.
Yeah, I just started and stopped it. So just see if he joins and if I can start it again.
I might be having issues with Chrome. 83% skipped frames due to recording lag.
Yikes.
I will be right back.
Boom. Seems appropriate.
This is not what I wanted.
Getting ready to start. Is he rebooting? He is in. He's in Zencaster, so not going to start recording yet.
This recording has finished.
Guess go out and come back in. I don't know. Do the same thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out and come back in. Yeah.
I will not be.
I still see the other recordings. What?
I will not be sharing my ODS.
Okay.
One of the issues.
I thought, when are you going to try to use multiple machines?
Save it for the show.
Alright.
What show? So what do we do? You want me to just add a 2 to the end of July?
What?
For Zencastr, you want me to just... Can you...
No. Everybody's in there. It's fine. I'll just do a new recording. Boom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Looks like everything's going.
Yeah.
Health checks passed. Ready to record.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom. Start recording. Boom.
Send out the tweets.
Yeah,
we did.
We already have.
All right. Is my stream looking good?
You didn't restart the stream, did you?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I was saying because that means we'd have to send out the tweets again.
Priority high. Change priority. I've gotten pretty good at doing this.
You are so blurry.
Yes, I am.
There you go.
Didn't do anything.
Everybody joining us, we are going to be getting started any moment now.
All right.
Thomas,
3, 2, 1, and intro.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shout Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional. But I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
That was your cue.
Yep.
Oh, I got a cue.
Yep. That was for you.
All right. Fantastic. Okay. Like a seagull to the face, you're listening to PHPUgly, episode 246, where we're hoping to raise enough money through our Patreon supporters to send Thomas right out to space. Not to return, just get rid of him. They can't hear you mute in space. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
The other part of it made sense. The seagull to the face didn't make sense. I don't get it.
You got to stay up on Twitter, man. Got to stay up on Twitter. And Tom right up.
Yeah. I'll take that money. I'll go to space and then be too busy to go.
Not ever return. That'd be awesome. How's everybody doing?
Happy to be back. That's for sure.
Were you gone?
No.
Cancer.
No.
How was your? Yes, you did. You went to old people's place, Palm Springs here in beautiful San Diego, California.
Personally, I'd never heard of a week-long proctology appointment, but whatever.
I think after about 2 or 3 days, it's just fun at that point.
Yeah, I am surprised you're sitting.
How was your time in Palm Springs?
It, for the most part, was amazing. So rewind further, I was in Jacksonville the weekend before, came back, and then picked up the family, and we went to Palm Springs. And watching my kids swim is so much fun. They're finally able to really swim versus staying right by the steps. They're little fish just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you got the Olympics, so you can point at that and say, see that? You'll never be that good.
No, be that good.
I don't hate you that much to make you be that good at a sport.
You don't know me that well.
Your thing is chess. Now back to work.
Exactly. So, I need some advice, and I'm hoping you guys or somebody listening has good advice for me.
I'm hoping somebody listening.
We stayed in a VRBO in Palm Springs.
A what?
Vacation rental by owner, almost like an Airbnb, just another version of it.
All right.
And the place was great. We loved the house we stayed in, the pool. I mean, we were there the whole time. We are out on time. We got to be out by 10 a.m. on Saturday. We were out at 9:50 something, out of the house, locked up. And 2 days later, we get the refund of our deposit. So you either have the option of $100 insurance that is not refundable, or you put down a $5,000 deposit that you get back. I'm like,
$5,000?
Yeah, but you get it back, right? It's okay. Just in case something happens. But I'm like, otherwise I'm spending $100 that I'm never going to see.
Mm-hmm.
We're very responsible people. We don't break stuff. We're good. We left. Everything's in great condition. 27 hours later, the cleaning people show up to clean. Shattered sliding glass door that they took out of my deposit before sending me my money back.
Get a lawyer.
$960 for
So here's
a glass.
Here's what you do.
So if had you done the $100 insurance, it would just have been that $100.
Right.
Here's what you do. You tell them, I'm no expert, but my friend is. And if we sue you in small claims court, in the discovery process, we will find out how many people have had the same problem and have had to pay you for it. So you can refund me my money, or this can be on local news like it always is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth all the time. Just a lot of money, and
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
For a broken door.
Did they send you the pictures?
Yeah, they sent me pictures, and supposedly it's double pane glass and only the inside is broken. So they have the entry records of when we left and when the cleaning crew showed up. And within pretty much the same minute that the cleaning crew unlocked the door, they text a picture of the broken slider.
So does the picture have metadata on it?
I bet I don't know. I haven't looked that closely.
I might look at the metadata on the picture and see if it has the right date.
And obviously, I assume they didn't have cameras or anything. Anyway.
Right. I'm inclined to believe that it is the right date, mainly because looking out the window, I can see like the umbrella exactly where I left it. Stuff like that. But not
it stinks. It smells bad.
It's frustrating is what it is when we know that everything was in perfect condition when we walked out of the house.
The first thing I would do is look up renters' liability laws and see if you are liable after you leave the building. And then from there, I would resort to petty theft or petty threats and declaration of having lots of lawyer friends.
I somewhat hinted around to that when I said, can you please send me any additional pictures from inside, from outside, copy of the receipt, because we're trying to figure out our next course of action.
I've found that the best threat doesn't threaten anything other than the most vague of things. Like before we take this any further, I think I should talk to my brother-in-law. Because then it just lets their mind run wild. Like his brother-in-law, like, wait a second, why would he need to talk to his brother? Is his brother-in-law like a justice of the peace or like? It's like, yeah,
anyway,
he sees this a lot. That's all.
Yeah. Long story short, it was a great vacation. We were very happy. Just a crappy ending to it.
Yeah, I heard you had a ton of fun, like breaking things too. Just like Rolling Stones hotel type thing.
Well, next time I pay for the $100 and then purposely break stuff, and then I feel better about myself.
Yeah,
see,
that's
lesson learned.
Mike, so that $100, that $5,000, that wasn't with the owner of the establishment, right? That was through some third party, the whatever the company is.
Yeah, through VRBO.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it just sucks when you know you did nothing wrong and then that happens.
Yeah, and it seems really coincidental that somebody who didn't take the $100 insurance is getting dinged. I don't know. I mean, you got wily kids. They could have done it. I don't believe you totally, John. I just don't. But you know, I'm just saying it's just suspicious that somebody who doesn't take the $100 insurance is getting dinged with this. So that's weird.
Yep.
How about you, Thomas? How was your week? Sorry. Go ahead, John. You came back.
No, I just came back, got back to coding and loving life. All right, that's it.
So it's occurring to me now that not sharing the screen is not helpful for you guys.
Yeah, we have no idea what's going on, but
No
but if
idea
it keeps the stream going, I'm happy with it.
Oh, let's see if I can do both.
Okay, let's take some time to figure this out while we're live streaming. While Tom is doing that, if you happen to be listening to us live in Discord, I asked a question earlier. It's going to play into things later, but I asked people in Discord to name like their top 4 PHP podcasts they enjoyed listening to. Not this one. Don't take this one in consideration. We already know we're your favorite, so don't worry about that. So if you're listening to us live, we'd appreciate that. It factors into things. Jesus, you didn't have to get all upset and throwing things around, Thomas.
I know, you ask him about his week, and then he kind of breaks stuff.
It's been an interesting week. I will say I am not one of those people who's prone to headaches. But the one that I currently have started 3 days ago.
It's a tumor.
That's what I'm thinking.
I have interestingly enough, I have a very good friend of mine that called me out of the blue. I haven't talked to him in years. Happen to know his wife is at a specialty hospital because she's had a migraine for a year and a half or 2 years now.
Not helpful. But thank you for your concern.
I'm just saying it could be worse. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Or it could be cancer. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better today. I got a little like headache, nauseous, which is I guess a thing I didn't know that existed before. But feeling better now.
Any idea what brought it on? In all seriousness?
No, all seriousness. I thought I just hadn't eaten like recently enough and took lunch late and had something to eat, and it like got better or worse and worse. And then it did not get better. And the next day it was worse. And then it started sort of like fading in and out. So
yeah, Tom, you need to turn your mic up.
Check my levels.
I'm going to tell you, I was so excited for the show, and you guys have completely bummed me out. So we may be postponing exciting announcements for later.
No, now is when we need the exciting announcements.
Well, we will ask Eric about his week, and then maybe we'll get some exciting announcements.
Well, not.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of ruins the fun now. I've been told by an insider that we will not find it nearly as interesting as he does.
I totally realized last week when I was editing the podcast, I have really oversold this.
Yeah. The insider, by the way, was Eric.
This is something totally for me, like, not for anybody else.
While I was in Palm Springs, I'm walking the dog out back. I'm like, oh, crap, it's Thursday night. So I tuned in live for like 3 minutes while Tom was announcing he was going to be speaking at a conference.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Big deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's coming up. And Tom also, I don't know if you stuck around long enough, confirmed he is going to Longhorn.
I did hear that.
I am going to Longhorn.
He will be in Austin in October.
Just need to get the ticket, hotel, and airline taken care of.
Pretty much done.
Let me know how it is.
Pretty close to done.
Didn't you say it was being taken care of on Friday last week?
You know how anxiety works? Anxiety is a funny thing.
You said it's being taken care of tomorrow.
I had incorrectly figured that if I just mentioned it to my project manager, that the rest would get taken care of in the same way that if I mentioned things to my wife, the laundry just is clean. So it turns out I was mistaken. I have some work to do.
Very interesting.
Well, I am still hoping to make it.
Oh, you're planning on going for sure?
No.
You both have tickets.
We have tickets. I said I am hoping to make it. There's still a long time between now and then. Things happen. I'm not committing to anything.
Remember that part where I was saying like anxiety is a complicated thing, and just anyone can make it worse.
How was flying to Florida, John?
It was a piece of cake. It really wasn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Too bad you ended up in Florida.
Yep. You have to work. Yeah. Outside of it being Florida, correct. Yes. You're supposed to be masked the entire time, except for eating or drinking.
I would drink a lot then. I mean, all the more reason to drink.
Yeah.
Let's keep him coming, lady.
Yeah. Every time he drinks at an airport, he gets a new laptop. I don't see the problem.
Damn it! You guys don't forget shit, do you?
No.
But yeah, outside of that, it really was a simple trip. Layovers were easy. The crappy part was they changed my flight on the way home. They bumped it back an hour. So instead of leaving at 9 something from Florida, I left at 8, which in and of itself isn't a big deal, except for the fact that I purposely didn't want to get up that early to go to the airport. But it made for a 3-hour layover in somewhere in Texas. I want to say Austin.
Yeah, but you had your Switch, right?
No.
Then why have a Switch?
Because now it's my kids.
Did you go by yourself or did you take the family?
Just by myself. Yeah. We're not going to put the kids on an airplane right now. Not until they can get vaccinated.
Well, Tom, you might be excited to hear. I spent a little time in VS Code this week.
Ooh.
I was talking to the people in Discord, and I told you
I'm not being devil's advocate, but I'm thinking about PHP Storm this week. We'll get into that later.
It doesn't make a difference. Honestly, so I'm going to tell you. So I was talking to the people in Discord. I forget what initiated it. Last week I told you that I had loaded up that NeoVim configuration in VS Code, and I was very happy and pleased with it. Oh, that reminds me, I just changed that literally today. I wonder if it still works in VS Code. So I spent a solid 2 days just in VS Code. I was frustrated, and the things that frustrated me, I figured out and worked through and fixed. Like a couple of key bindings weren't there that I wanted. So I'm still doing my Vim thing and all that. And I gotta be honest with you. I spent a good amount of time in PHP Storm and a couple days in VS Code, and I've also refreshed my NeoVim configuration. And I got to be honest with you, as somebody who was doing not necessarily a side-by-side comparison, but probably PHP Storm edges out VS Code for like speed and features. But again, PHP Storm, right? PHP Storm is focused on PHP. VS Code is more like NeoVim or Vim. Right, it does everything. So I think for what it does, it worked really well. I don't think it would be like if I didn't have PHP Storm and I was down to Vim or VS Code. I still don't think VS Code would be my everyday driver, but I would want to stay up on it enough so that if somebody asked me for advice, I could help them in VS Code. But Yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, you know,
So when you said PHP Storm edged it out and was faster, in which way? Because I always assume PHP Storm being Java based would be very bloated and heavy.
Yeah, and even though VS Code is an Electron app, it just seems like, and this might be my Vim coming out in me, but it just seems a little less responsive. Both of them seem way less responsive than Vim. Like Vim, as far as speed
that
of coding,
sense.
right? But you know, when I was going, because I was doing VS Code, and then I would jump to PHP Storm, and I don't know, it just felt like VS Code. And it could still be my configuration, right? Like I actually have had PHP Storm for a while, and I keep it pretty current on plugins and patches and things like that. My VS Code, you know, I just spent like half a day getting it configured. So I could probably still be doing some optimization, but for me, like, it just seems a little sluggish. It was the weirdest thing was the thing I reached out to you about, Thomas, and our people in Discord helped me out with, was the project management. Because again, this is my biggest gripe. I'm not gripe. This is my edge case. Is I'm jumping between projects a lot. Like, I am constantly going from one project to another project to another project. And I couldn't find that in VS Code. And somebody's like, oh, yeah, you really want this extension. Like, I guess VS Code had something, but it's not that great. So I installed that extension, and then it took me a little while to figure out how to work with it. But once I got that, it was okay. But I don't know, man. It was just like even like the weird things, like the inline git blame. Like, I have that in Vim. I have it in PHP Storm. I wanted it in VS Code. So I found it, I installed it, and like even things like that, it like takes like 2 seconds to show up, whereas in PHP Storm, it's pretty instantaneous. You know, it's maybe a second, but it's pretty instantaneous. And then even moving around just like didn't feel as crisp as PHP Storm. Like PHP Storm itself, like you say, John, it can be sluggish. Like, it can be kind of not wholly responsive. Yeah. But VS Code was just like, I mean, it felt like it's like, yeah, I'm getting there, you know, but it just didn't feel like quite as sharp. And then, again, it might have just been my configuration. I don't know, but it's good. Again, as far as like for me, Laravel, Livewire, those new Laravel idea plugin that you have to pay for PHP Storm. I mean, it has something that beats out my experience on Vim, which is it has a little helper you can run where it goes through all your migrations and figures out all the column names that you're creating, and then does auto completion for column names. So whenever you're doing something that you're calling, you're doing a model, you're saying where ID equals or where, and then you're going to type in something, it knows that's going to be a column name in your database. So it starts giving you like the auto completion of what you have in there. And that's just something I don't have in Vim and didn't have. Again, might be a plugin in VS Code that I don't know of, but didn't have in VS Code. The Livewire integration that they have with PHP Storm is still, way above everybody else's. You gonna ask a question?
No, I was, when you were talking, I was thinking just like database queries, and with PHP Storm, it has the DataGrip database connection, so it knows. But you were talking about specifically Eloquent and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Using
I don't use even to this day. I still don't use database. And even the Git stuff, I don't use in PHP Storm. I know it's there, and like the couple times I try to use it, it just doesn't feel right. Like, it's so much easier for me to pop over to a terminal, do lazy Git. I can see my diffs. Lazy Git is just so much faster. Like,
I'm just curious because I use the Git integration with PHP Storm. for checking out branches, creating branches, rebasing, looking at my diffs before committing, pushing.
So you do see diffs when you do commits?
Yeah, if you double click on a file, it'll show you the diff.
Oh,
for
so
that
you have
file.
to click on the file. Gotcha. Okay.
Or so they've changed the commit window, so now it's integrated within. If you switch back to the modal, you don't have as you're scrolling through your files, it automatically shows the diff, and I kind of missed that. But the integrated one is fine as well. You double click on the file, it brings it up in a split pane, showing you the before and after. I love PHP Storm for doing my conflict resolution.
I still use it for that. Yeah.
So VS Code's conflict resolution, at least with GitLens, has been so good. Like GitLens has just been amazing at resolution for me.
So what's that experience like?
It shows you the blocks that have changed and gives you the like mine, theirs, or both. And from both, you sort of go line by line and resolve it yourself.
So in PHP Storm, you have 3 panes, right? You have
Right.
what you're pulling in, what you have, and the middle pane is the merge. Is that what you have in VS Code?
I have one pane. It shows within that pane the sections that have changed or need merge conflict resolution between them. And I find it so much easier than the whole 3 pane. I never figured out the 3 pane thing.
See, I love with PHP Storm and the 3 panes. I almost always say, give me all the non-conflicting lines between both files, so it just brings everything in. And then I scroll to each block, each conflict, and I try to figure out which one is more accurate. Choose that one, and then make any changes I need in line to bring in the other changes.
And I understand that, but it just never clicked with me. It never clicked right with me.
Interesting.
And for the record, Vim does have a similar conflict resolution interface. I never learned it that well. I probably should. I just never did.
See, I love using Vim diff. I've never used it for Git resolution, but I use it often, especially when I'm comparing like CSV files or something. I will write out to often have a file 1 and 2 on my hard drive, where I write a bunch of stuff to file 1, a bunch of stuff to file 2, use Vim diff, and then I can quickly go through and find my differences.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw a massive wrench in the whole conversation, because PHP Storm announced they're supporting generics for PHP. So the most requested feature of PHP, and it's being done by the IDE.
But it's not part of the language.
Generics isn't in PHP yet.
It's not going to be in PHP.
It hasn't passed yet.
It's not going to. Is sort of the end of the conversation, according to Nikita Popov, is there's 3 ways of doing generics, and they're all bad. It doesn't work for a number of reasons, depending on which iteration you want to use. However, type hinting for generics in the IDE totally makes sense. So if you use an annotation to type hint for a generic, PHP Storm will now make sure that it enforces that generic and tracks the child objects coming from it as if they were objects that it had a known state of. So right now in PHP Storm, with the lack of generics, so with generics, you get an array of a known type of object. So I have an array of user objects. And in PHP land, an array can have any number anything in it. It can be an integer, a float, an object, or even a function call. But in the IDE, you can say, this is an array of users. I expect an array of users, so treat it like it's an array of users.
It can't validate that that's what's coming in, but when you're coding within that function, it can know that it's supposed to be those things.
Right. So when you start looping over,
enforcement.
right, you start looping over this array that you've declared as a generic in the annotations, then it will attempt to autocomplete and validate within the IDE that you're calling valid methods on the object, valid properties of the expected object.
Where currently I start a loop and then I use a annotation to say this variable is of type user.
Right.
So it's either give me an annotation somewhere in the class versus inline in the code.
Right. So this is all a result of Nikita Popov's big research into the 3 types of generics that could be implemented into PHP, which is an article that he wrote in January last year that I cannot understand. It quickly goes, option 1 is just drop caring about them, like allow support for generics, but don't enforce them. Which obviously has its issues. But then option 2 and option 3, I don't understand. He gets very quickly into memory spacing and C class typing and stuff that I don't want to deal with. So it's bad. But the end result of his statement was a post on GitHub that had 1 comment and 145 thumbs up, which is like, yeah, he comes to the conclusion that generics just aren't going to work for PHP, and everyone just sort of went, can't argue with him. He did all the work. But it sounds
never say never.
If you don't know, Nikita Popov works for PHP Storm, so it sounds like he implemented generics as a helper for PHP in the IDE.
So is that what brought you back to looking at PHP Storm?
Yeah, because the more I go down the rabbit hole with generics and how they're useful and why they're useful, it is not, well, okay, as he says in his own article, it's not performant for PHP to implement generics. Things aren't going to get faster because of it. It just allows for a smoother development pipeline. And so if you can get that into the IDE, then it kind of doesn't matter that it's not implemented into the core. Because the whole point of generics in the PHP world is to help streamline the development process. In the world where you have a lot of memory management stuff going on with C and processor management, and you care about these long-running processes that are doing things that have to communicate back and forth, then it matters. And I'm totally paraphrasing. But his conclusion was that doing it the optimum way in PHP is adding complexity to the code that some people will have to maintain that they won't know how to maintain, and it will provide almost no performance benefit, so it's just not worth it.
That makes sense. If you're really that worried about making sure you have the right objects, you should be checking it anyway coming in. Because I'm assuming if generics were implemented and you got an array of things and something was wrong in that array, you're going to get a runtime error or some
right. Yeah, the best case scenario is you throw an exception, which you're going to do anyways.
Right.
So that's why option 1 was basically implementing generics and then throwing them out at compile time. Because that's what people were asking for. But then when you try to implement that into PHP core, you'll never get the votes to get it passed. So it's a total catch-22 for like, do you implement this complicated thing that brings no benefit to the table, or do you just say it's not going to happen because people don't want what they think they want?
And it won't be long before other IDEs kind of pick up and do the same thing. You're muted. Tom, you're muted.
That's my experiment this week, is that this was announced today. I want to see how long until VS Code has it.
So was it announced as they're going to do it, or it's done and it's available now?
It's in the 2021.2 beta right now. So you can get it as part of the, the beta branch, but it's not in the official release. And I'm very curious to see how long it takes somebody to see this, think it's a good idea, and add it to VS Code.
Eric,
because so far that's how VS Code has worked. Someone has a good idea and someone else just puts it in VS Code overnight.
Eric, Tom just said official release. Weird, huh?
You know what's never complicated, John? John, you know what's really never complicated? Monitoring your application 24/7. It's never.
Honey Badger transforms you into a DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and cron monitoring into a single, easy-to-use platform. Stop wasting your time tailing logs and deploy with Swagger. Visit honeybadger.io today to level up.
Thank you, Honey Badger.
Thanks, Honey Badger. That wasn't awkward at all.
Sponsors of PHPUgly.
Why? Was there an official release that I don't know about? Because I brought that up and then you cut over there.
Yeah, what have you done, Eric? I told you that there would be hell to pay if I didn't hear anything about any secret projects this week.
Well, I was trying to bring more to the table. John, do we have something to share?
Possibly. Yeah, you want me to share? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Let's start. So this is not. I mean, I'm excited about this one. This was another kind of side project we've been working on for a while. This is the one I've been going crazy about for the last couple of weeks. But I wanted to bring more to the table because it's not that much. Go ahead, John.
This is really just a pet project that Eric and I've been working on. No joke. It's no secret. I like playing Ultimate Frisbee, and trying to get the groups together to schedule things is a pain in the butt. There's a couple different ways that my local groups do things. I don't like any of them, so I had an idea for ways to enhance this process and do a lot more with it. So Eric and I created callgameon.com, and it's currently in beta. So beta.callgameon.com. It's just a simple way to basically create events.
Very early, very rough. We haven't even put a front end team on it yet. It's really just what I did in Tailwind one weekend. It's like the UI is not there. There's a lot of features missing currently.
A lot of features missing. We're putting it out there just to start getting some sort of feedback. I'm going to announce it to my ultimate groups here soon. The goal is create an event like a pickup game that is public at a public park, or a private game, say a home poker game. Those have been our two kind of use cases recently. And you need X number of people to participate in order for it to call game on, hence the name. So I create an ultimate game. I say I need at least 8 people to say yes. You get a bunch of people joining. They say, I'm in. As soon as you get to 8 people, game is called on. Everybody's notified so that people know to show up. Nothing more. Nothing. It's very simple, but
I mean, in theory, I was thinking about it. In theory, you could actually use this for meetups as well. And we may even add some feature functionality for that, like a way for them to upload presentations or something.
Well, so
But-
we haven't talked about meetups in what feels like 2 years. But this was an issue with our meetups, was that like there was no news for 6 months. So we kind of just sort of filled spots. There wasn't a big presentation to make, like, here's the Laravel thing that's happening. So I could totally see this working for meetups, where it's like, once there's enough news and enough people have signed up for doing it, then we call a meetup.
Yeah. Or just like John said, hey, do we want to get 5-10 people together and talk about the newest PHP stuff? And if enough people join up and agree to go, then game on, meet up on.
Yep.
I get the feeling this is powered by some kind of cron monitoring system.
Oh yeah, Honey Badger is definitely in there. Yeah, for sure.
No, Argus.
Oh, Argus. Well, we don't have any cron jobs on it currently, I don't think. Yeah, we don't.
No.
We probably will eventually, because we'll probably want to do some like notifications when somebody signed up and a game is on, like give people like 24 hours notice that the game is about to happen or something. So we'll probably build something in there. Yeah, we'll throw it in Argus. Yes, Ralph, you're absolutely correct. Laravel, Tailwind, Livewire, it's all that was the marching orders when this was actually our first Livewire is a first-class citizen project where we weren't implementing Vue and then sugaring some Livewire into it. We're like, okay, we're not implementing Vue. We're not implementing any JavaScript framework. We're using Laravel and Livewire, and then of course, obviously with Livewire, you get a little Alpine JS. And yes, some Tailwind currently, because that's the only way I can do CSS anymore is Tailwind. I love Tailwind. It's fantastic. And the new Tailwind stuff, if you guys haven't seen it, is awesome. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but I had a video for it. It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
I just love doing it front end, so I don't have to worry about it.
I wanted to have something for the people because I feel really self-conscious about my other big news.
Do you want to do that now, or you want to do that later? Now would be a good time, I think.
Well, I want to say, I noticed that you've got some Tailwind stuff. You've got a few, some UI stuff you need to take care of.
Oh yeah, a lot of. Well, there is no UI. Really. I don't consider anything in there UI.
Well, I got a fantastic article today about a UI issue where a guy was trying to check out on Olive Garden through his iPad. And Olive Garden's site was using a viewport height calculation that is kind of bugged on mobile devices, specifically iPads. And he couldn't check out because the checkout button was below the viewport. It was rendering too low.
Oh, I've had this happen before. Well,
right.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So it's a technical article that breaks down, for the first half of it, like why does this occur and how do you handle proper viewport height for mobile devices? But then someone asked him, how much money do you think they've lost because of this? So he actually did the math of how many people on average are using the website, how many of those people are mobile browsers, how many of the mobile browsers have this bug, and how much is an order worth. And guess what his lowball takeaway was on losses because of this bug?
$2.46 million.
Not even close.
$42 million.
Also not close, but the wrong direction. $8 million.
How does
so?
The question is, where does he get the numbers from? Like, where does he get number?
Well,
of visitors?
that's the second half of the whole article. Is that
You know,
he tracked down that this company that built this website is owned by a conglomerate named Darden Restaurants, and they all use the same website.
I'm going to warn you about something right now, because I went through this in the enterprise. We always had this exercise, and there was always this, well, if the site is down for 30 seconds, we lose $4 million. We have all these calculations that show this. And, you know, we sit there in ops and like, okay, if we're losing, you know, $4 million every 30 seconds, then we're like $1 billion company. And there's no way you can convince me we're not. You know, it's like always this like extreme case of, I'm not saying it's not accurate. I'm just saying
totally understand what you're saying. But remember that this,
shock and awe value.
This is a situation where the system doesn't come back up ever. Is that if you are trying to buy food from Olive Garden on your mobile device, you cannot.
Right, you can't. But I bet a lot of those people that are trying to order call in.
Just call. Yeah, exactly. They just call.
I have this issue. I have this issue with, I want to say, Fresh Brothers Pizza. I have problems ordering on a mobile device from them all the time. Whether it's their CAPTCHA's broken or something, and it annoys the hell out of me. But I ultimately end up getting my food. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Using another device.
You find alternative, yeah. And it doesn't stop you from ordering from them. You just know, don't use the phone because their mobile version is shit. You know, call them or use the desktop.
I don't disagree, but the observation that this bug exists on the websites for Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, Cheddar Scratch Kitchen, Yard House, Capitol Grill, Season 52, Bahama Breeze, and Eddie V's, and that they have
Darden
to be
is not
losing,
sponsoring us. You don't have to plug all of their restaurants.
They have to be losing some money because of this. So, somebody is just
I'm sure
giving up and walking away and going somewhere else.
But we know. I mean, come on, we're all web developers, right? We know. So I was going to explain that with Argus and even with Call Game On, I had an issue with Tailwind and the fact that certain Tailwind components were being dynamically generated. And what happened was I was running Purge CSS. Shout out to friend of the show, or at least friend of mine. I don't think he likes the show. I'm not sure how much he likes me, actually. Michael Dorinda.
Acquaintance, Michael Dorinda.
Yeah. Casual acquaintance, somebody I know, reached out to me when we were having this issue with Argus. Our little support bot was not showing up. And what happens is, when you run npm run prod, it runs purge CSS. So all these dynamic CSS components, it's not a Tailwind thing. I think I said it was a Tailwind thing. We're using Tailwind. It's not a Tailwind thing, but it's whenever you use dynamic CSS components and you run purge CSS, it doesn't see those components. So it just says, okay, well, I'm not going to build that component because you're not using it anywhere in your code. And so with Argus.2, like our entire support bot wouldn't show up because it was this dynamic component that gets loaded based on some conditions. And we actually had the same thing with Call Game On. Like just last week, I'm like, I go to create a game. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how do I announce the game? The button's not there. And then I remembered, I'm like, oh, wait a second, I bet you it is there. And what was happening is Purge CSS was removing those components. It's just like little things like that. It's like, oh, what a pain in the ass. And then you start to factor in, like you said, mobile devices and all these other peripherals. And I mean, it's a moving target for us. It's always been a moving target for us. I don't fault the company. I tell you what, I to this day haven't come across a good medical interface that makes sense anywhere, even on the desktop. I'm like, this just doesn't work, It's like as much money as these industries have, you can't you can't give me a clean interface to make an appointment and see my appointments and see my prescriptions. Oh man, it's a moving target, man. It's just whatever.
I read an article that I wasn't going to bring up.
Okay.
But it was like number 1 on Reddit last week or 2 weeks ago, and the title was "Technical Debt Isn't Always Bad." And I was like, I gotta get to this article. It was an open tab on my browser for a week, and I finally read it, and I was infuriated. I was livid. The article came down to basically resolving technical debt takes time, and as a developer, sometimes it's better to get things done quickly and ensure job security by having things to fix later. And I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me?
So you laugh?
I hear John. That's insane.
Hold on. This is always one of my pitches in business against hiring contractors. It's like there's no motivation for, and I listen. If you're out there and you're making a living as a contractor, PHP developer, God bless you. Understand. I have a business I have to run, right? So, but
business
to me,
of contracting PHP development.
Well, no, that's the whole thing. You don't contract with us. You're on a retainer with us. So if you don't like us, if we're not delivering for you, you drop, right? You know how much you're paying us every month, and that's my pitch. For a contractor, there's no motivation to do a good job. There's no motivation for them to finish quickly. There's no motivation for them to use, they're just, I mean, yes, you may have a contractor who's good and does that.
I only partially agree with that, because there are people who are motivated by quality as an inherent attribute of the work that they do. And absolutely. But the article made me mad because it was encouraging people, in my opinion, to not learn how to handle technical debt on the onboarding process. It was telling them bad code pays well, and that was the thing. It's like, hey, you don't have to become, it does, but you don't have to become a better developer because being a worse developer can pay well, and like, you're not supposed to say that part. You're supposed to whisper that in dark corners of the internet. You're not supposed to write it on Medium. That. Yeah, and it tells.
That's our whole business model, right? I mean, our whole business model is you're not paying us by the hour. We have a vested interest in getting things done efficiently for you and with compliance, because okay.
And the guys that are the best.
DiegoDev.com in case you're looking for to get in touch with us.
The guys that are the best at their sport or at their video game or at their math are not the ones who have spent the most time doing it. They're the ones who spent the most time perfecting it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
There are a lot of backyard quarterbacks who have done more time throwing a ball than Tom Brady, who are not nearly as good as him.
That might be a bad example, but yes,
it's a bad example. It's a terrible example, but the point stands. I don't know sports. I was going to say FaZe Clan, but they're in trouble too. So is that when you're hiring a contractor, you're not necessarily getting the person who's done 20 years of their life doing the best code. You're getting somebody who's done code for 20 years of their life. And when you hire a company like DiegoDev, DiegoDev.com, then you're getting people who are dedicated to the art of the craft. And I hated this article because very expensive.
You're a hype.
We tried.
Do I have a very
That's
large?
True. We did try.
Yeah, I have a very large clock necklace. If you need a hype man, it just bothered me so much that someone was like, "Yeah, don't become better. Leave the bad shit there to get paid tomorrow." And
Exactly.
That bugged me so much. It bugged me so much.
Exactly.
And it really depends on where you're being hired to. Like, there's a lot of startups that are, we don't care about technical debt. We need to move fast. We don't just make it work.
Well,
that's true. That's very
that's
true.
one of the stressful and great things about my new job is we do care about technical debt, do it right the first time, and work as a group to learn why we didn't allow this to get merged into master. Like,
so
communication
I
is
think
essential.
That is a misnomer as well. If we're going to go down this path, the do it right the first time is not always as clear as it seems like it should be, right? Because you might not know what right is. Like, you might not know what your business cases is. You might not know how the application is going to be used. So doing it right the first time might not really be an option.
Sure.
We've had this experience in the past.
But I mean, I got a comment on my code today that was, "Hey, everything looks great. This line right here introduces an N+1 issue that could be a problem 2 years from now. So just fix that one line, and it's going into master." It's like, they're starting this job. That was incredibly frustrating because, hey, the review process took a half hour. You've been on another project for a half an hour fixing other things. The review comes back. Hey, change this one line to say this instead. Cast it with Laravel's implicit with statements, so you can count it when you need to. And it's like every day I get more and more comfortable with that criticism, and my code comes out better and better with fewer comments every day. It's just very, and to me, that's the antithesis of what this article was saying. This article was saying, don't learn, don't improve, because you're hurting your bottom line.
Right.
But when you are learning,
sucks.
you feel better. Like, I'm the same way. I get those comments on my code all the time. I mean, the past 2 days, I took code that was working and literally was moving it. We're in the process of bringing middleware more into the fold of the application. So basically moving this controller into middleware, and it was really a copy paste type of situation. So it was still horrible. And the person reviewing it's like, really it'd be a lot easier to read and test if you split this up into more files. And I'm like, okay, this was supposed to be just literally move it into middleware, stop the end. But at the end of the day, it's going to be much, much better. The testing is way cleaner. And I learned.
Darling Data in Discord, you don't feel bad. Like, I'm not saying all contractors, all lone wolves out there are bad. There are artists out there who believe in the craft. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, if you're going that extra mile, you're probably one of the exceptions to that rule, right? You're one of the people. Did you see somebody in Discord said they burned through all of our episodes again? It's like, good God, what is wrong with you? Like, none of that information is good. What is, seriously, you should talk to somebody.
We're gonna get sponsored by BetterHelp soon enough.
But no, there are definitely, like, even when I was mainly in ops, when I was ops guy, I never understood the developers who were like the 9-to-5ers. Who, like, at the end of the day, they would tell us, they were like, because I'm like, do you code? Like, what do you code in your off time? Like, what do you work on? It's like, fuck. It's like, I'm not getting paid. I'm not coding. It's like, how? Like,
right?
How is that your mentality? And they weren't necessarily contractors. They were employees. They were people who had paid jobs. And I'm not saying,
I worked with a developer when Google shut down their feed reader. I asked him what he's going to use as an alternative for his RSS feeds. And he goes, a what? What's an RSS feed? And I was like, you've got to be kidding. You don't have like feeds of all the programming news coming daily into your phone? He's like, No, I have a flip phone. I play Madden. Like
Yeah.
as soon as the bell rings, man, I am playing Madden and smoking weed. And I was like, that's insane.
Yeah, I think that's what differentiates people like us from people like that.
Yeah.
It's more than I mean, I was just telling a good friend of mine recently that I feel fortunate I can make a living doing this, because I'm not going to use the line "do what you love and you don't work a day in your life." That's bullshit, because this is still
It's
work.
hard.
And it's not
hard.
and it's not always fun, right? I mean, you go through grinds, but I feel extremely fortunate that I'm in a position to get paid doing something that I'm passionate about and I enjoy doing. So, yeah.
You know what else we're really, really fortunate for?
Our
Do tell.
patrons.
Our patrons.
We have new patrons.
We have new old patrons.
Yeah.
Patrons who didn't
sorry?
show up on the list. We have new old patrons who stopped showing up on the list for one reason or another.
That's true. We got it. So if you're a Patreon member and you're not on the list, you should be on this week's list, because I did a fresh grab from Patreon and created a new list this week. But I'm not seeing the new members show up, so I'm getting a little nervous whether or not you have the you don't have the new ones. Wait, yes you do. Chris C and Tristan. I don't know what that last letter is. That an L or I?
I.
It must be uppercase I. Are new members.
Most last names are uppercase.
Yeah. So we got two, Tristan and what was it? They were in our Discord. They actually joined Discord to get in an extra question last week. God bless them.
What is our Discord?
Discord.phpugly.com.
We do. That's right.
Eric,
Discord.
But there's more. There's more. Eric wants to
Charlton.
talk about more.
Charlton. Thank you, Charlton. Is that the name that showed up? I don't remember.
You know,
Chris.
there are more people.
Oh,
in
you're
Discord.
Chris. You're Chris in Patreon.
There are more people in our Discord
Charlton.
channel than listen to our podcast.
And they've all been waiting for your announcement that you haven't given yet.
I don't think only a few are in there. Only a couple in there.
I need to check on my dog. Give me.
Okay, you check on you.
3 seconds.
Everybody can blame Tom for this. Blame Tom for this one.
No, Tom can just miss.
That would be shitty as hell. Let's act like I told everybody. Huh?
That'd be funny.
Let's act like we told everybody. We just move on. So just like congratulate me or something when he comes back, and we'll just go from there. Charlton, you missed it last week.
Everyone in Discord, just put big OMGs.
Oh yeah. Help us out there, Discord. Act like I just announced something big, and just let's freak Tom out. If you're in there, come on, Kevin. I know you're in there. Ralph,
I think you gotta wait a
darling.
minute for.
I know how it works. All right, so that's Tom's dog that's been barking all afternoon. I got to clean that up, or maybe I won't actually. I don't know.
No, I've been beating mine, so he knows better.
You have not been beating your dog.
I came close to wanting to today. Oh my! He was in our kitchen. I come back out, shredded a book. It was a book of Nolan and Grayson, like somebody had printed for him. It was horrible, but that was awesome.
So yeah, that's it. I mean, that's all I have to say about it. I'm just really excited and
so cool. You're muted,
Not
Tom.
dumb.
What?
Not dumb. I know what Eric's
Sure,
doing.
Oh, cool. You know?
Yes.
You heard?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
It's the dragon phallus thing, right?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Big dragon dicks.
Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to cut that out. That'll be the title of the show. I haven't decided yet. Dragon dicks.
Big dragon dicks.
All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up. I don't know.
No. We need to hear what this secret Eric project is.
I just talked about it for the last 10 minutes. Nobody else cares. Everybody in Discord's happy. We're good.
If Discord's happy, then you obviously didn't talk about it for 10 minutes.
Sure what you're talking about, Tom. God, I'm spilling scotch on me. This was like $5 worth of scotch right there. God damn it.
Oh boy. My friend got some A5 Wagyu. Took it to the butcher today to get it cut into pieces so he could deep freeze it. The butcher just looked at it and went, "Holy shit!" I will post a picture of this on Discord. It is impressive.
Okay.
You really don't have to. It'd be fine if you didn't post body parts. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay. We ready
Well, let me zoom in
for
on
my
you.
big announcements?
Yeah, let's hear it.
You weren't buying it at all. That I already gave it up, did you? Thank
I
you.
knew
Thank
that you
you for
didn't.
everybody in Discord for supporting me. Appreciate it.
Now Ralph can be underwhelmed.
So there have been hints. As a matter of fact, during this very show, a hint was tweeted out as a feeler to see who's paying attention. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you right now, live on the show, how many people are paying attention.
0.
Nobody. No, actually, somebody did. Somebody liked it. Wait, what? Somebody liked it. Ah! Okay, so the whole story and nothing but the story. And this kind of factors into what we were talking about recently, where I was saying, Jesus Christ, Tom. Where I was saying we had the question of whether or not we should be having guests on the show. Like, there were a lot of people asking for like interviews. And as somebody who's done a lot of podcasting, there's certain podcasts out there that have stuck around for a long time, even though maybe they haven't released in a while. I asked in Discord recently or today what people's favorite podcasts were. A couple of them came up. A couple of them that haven't broadcast in a while, including Dev Hell, which was one of the OG PHP podcasts out there. And they haven't released in a couple years. Another one that comes up. So whenever somebody does the top 10, top 5, whatever podcast, there's always another podcast on there that hasn't broadcast in a while. And recently, the owner of that podcast reached out to me and said, "Hey, I would really like to get this going again. Would you be interested in being part of it?" And me, of course, thinking more than 2 minutes ahead. Excuse me?
What?
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 Me
I thought
being me.
Was I not muted?
So first thing, I was extremely happy to hear from this person because I hadn't heard from him in a long time. It was a him. It is a him. As far as I know, he will continue to be a him. I haven't gotten any other news in a very long time. And there have been I've been like, hiding little hints. Like all this show, there's been a certain little elephant sitting over here. And this particular elephant happens to be the PHP Roundtable. So Sammy K reached out to me and said, "I would really like to get Roundtable going again. Are you interested in helping me with this project?" And I said, "Absolutely." Yeah. Absolutely, I would be happy to help you with this project. And then I started working on the website because the website hadn't been updated in a very long time. Even the code base, like even now, the content on the website hasn't changed. I've done a couple of things that a lot of people might not notice. Like I've changed the feed and I've taken away the Google Plus. Remember Google Plus? He had a Google Plus link up there. I'm like, yeah, let's just remove that Google Plus logo. But yeah, I actually cut over to that version of the website just today. So I believe if you go to PHPRoundtable.com, I believe you see the new version. I see the new version, which includes the new feed and the link to the elephant. So I just tweeted out during the show. I actually scheduled the tweet, and there's 2 more tweets to come. I tweeted out on the PHP Roundtable account just a little teaser video, just to see who notices that the account tweeted something out. We do have our first roundtable set up. We will be recording it in the next couple of weeks, I think. And then there's some more announcements that will come out during that roundtable. But Sammy and I are very excited. I feel like I want to announce the guests. I don't think I already told you guys that potentially 2 of the guests are Discord people in our Discord. So that should help you guys narrow it down.
When did you tell us that? Or was I not paying
attention? I told you that last week.
That was last week. John was not here.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So the roundtable is starting up again, and I get to be part of it. And there will be some more information about what my role is and what Sammy's going to be doing, but you got to listen to the first roundtable for that. So I'm only partially spoiling it for you guys, but you're the first to know. Like, nobody knows that roundtable is about to happen again. And it's only going to get out there if you guys mention it. Whether I want you guys to mention it, I don't care. Like, you guys can keep it to yourself. I don't care. We're going to do it. And yeah, I'm so excited. So the first thing you'll notice, like on Roundtable now, the little past episodes, that's a Livewire component. So like you can click through. It used to be one long list. Yeah, I implemented Livewire. Like I had to upgrade Laravel because I wanted to implement Livewire.
All right, now we're really getting to what is exciting to Eric.
So yeah, there's Livewire in there, and I'm slowly moving over to Tailwind.
I did not understand the hype until this exact second.
That's
what I'm saying. Use Livewire.
I feel we were just talking about this. I'm so passionate about this. I love talking to people about this. I do this for a PHP Architect. We have an interview podcast there that we do where that's just one interview, usually one person, and it's related to that month's
issue.
Episode.
The article they wrote in that month's issue.
Yeah. This allows me to just put together panels, and we got a taste of that with the security, the security release issue with PHP internals, where we had Sarah join us, Eric Mann joined us, Oscar, all of us were there, and it was good. It was like nice to have that panel again of just multiple people and different ideas and thoughts. And PHP Roundtable has always been one of those podcasts that, even though they haven't released, Sammy hasn't released an episode in like 3 years, is always up there as one of the top 4 or 5 podcasts of PHP. So
how does that make you feel being a current podcaster, knowing that people look forward to 3-year-old podcasts more than ours?
I mean, it's great.
Well, they don't. I'll get ahead of this question. because right now we are the #1 PHP podcast on Google search results.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, darling. Wait, what did you just say?
We are the #1 result for PHP podcasts on Google results.
Well, that might be because Google knows who you are. The real test is to go to DuckDuckGo.
Incognito.
DuckDuckGo.com. I'm going to type in PHP podcast. I bet you PHP Roundtable shows up before we do. PHP Voices of the Elephant.
Voices of the Elephant.
PHP podcasts.
It's just
PHP,
a best of list.
PHP Architect, PHP Town Hall, show more results. So we didn't even make the first page.
Don't blame them.
PHP. All right, so PHP Roundtable is not showing up, but we're not either for that matter. So
no, but if you go to phppodcasts.com, we do show up.
What do you mean PHP podcast?
phppodcast.com.
Podcast?
That's a lot. That's a stream of existing PHP podcasts, and
that's Cal Evans' thing, right? Actually,
how are we
I
not?
got nothing showing up.
Yeah.
PHP.
This both
PHP
upsets me and doesn't upset me. This is exactly what I expected, and I hate it.
Of what?
What?
Well, our listing on PHP podcasts.
Well, this just grabs everybody's feed, so whoever's got the most recent podcast is on top.
Yeah, like I said, not disappointed.
John,
just upset.
John in Discord, you're absolutely right. We do absolutely no SEO for PHPUgly. We do zero SEO.
Oh yeah, zero.
So,
hey, if you ever want to see an antique of the internet, go check out the PHPUgly subreddit, which I'm the only moderator of and hasn't had a post in since before the word pandemic became popular.
That's because we have a whole Discord channel where people talk.
Listen, I'm not done talking about my stuff. Everybody listening to PHPUgly, you can do me a big favor and go to PHP Roundtable's YouTube channel and start subscribing. I want you to subscribe to PHP Roundtable because we want to get those numbers moving again, and then you know who it is now. I'm very deeply involved. Trust me. You tell me who you want to see around. I have ideas, and I'm looking to put together roundtables. You let me know who. You guys have the inside track. You this is my shit show, right? I say what I want on this show, and I don't have to behave myself. And you guys can tell me. You can manipulate me. I'm open to payment as well. You can pay me. You can pay me off. No, that's not true. No, it is true. I'm ashamed of it.
It's a very elaborate breakup.
So PHP Roundtable is back, baby. I'm still keeping a low profile. I'm gonna see who notices on Twitter that little teasers are coming out, and see who notices that the Roundtable Twitter account is tweeting again. And then I'll start to make my presence known more. But Roundtable is back, baby, and it's I'm so excited. So you let me know. You let me know who you want to hear from. You let me know if you want to be part of Roundtable, and we'll
I
make
100% expect to be a guest.
You will not be a guest ever in my life. No, I'm just kidding. I actually have an idea for a complete roundtable of PHP podcasters. I'm probably going to reach out to that. That won't be the comeback show, obviously, but I'm going to start reaching out to some of the PHP podcasters, PHP Town Hall, hopefully the Laravel guys, PHP internals, and just kind of talk about, why it is we do what we do, how we feel like education, do we feel like it's adding to, the improvement of developers. I'm very excited about this because there's a lot of people I want to talk to, and this kind of gives me that platform of saying, hey, let's get together. How often we're going to do it, I don't know yet. I'm not going to commit to once a month or once whatever. Right now, it's kind of loosey-goosey. I have some show ideas. I'm going to start sending out emails and letting people know that this is happening. I want to do like a Laravel panel. I want to do a Symphony panel. I want to do a Drupal panel. I have a lot of panels in mind. I'm going to just start doing a bunch of email blasts, see how many responses I get, and see what I can put together. I really want to do a PHP internals with you just mentioned his name, Tom, for what we were talking about with generics. I want to get
Nikita Popov,
Nikita, Sarah,
Sarah Goldman,
the guy who does, Sarah Goldman,
Ben
the guy who
Ramsey.
does, nah, not so much Ben. Screw that guy. No, just kidding. Love you, Ben. You know that. Ben, who's the guy who does XDebug and PHP Internals podcast?
Derek Wathen.
Do Derek. There's a few other people. Just kind of put together these tables, and then as I'm putting these together, as I'm getting confirmation, again, my PHPUgly Discord channel, I'll let you guys know, who the upcoming panelists are going to be. You guys can start peppering me with questions, and we'll get those questions out there. I'm super excited, and I think the PHPUgly listeners are going to come along for the ride. I hope you guys come along for this ride because I want you to be part of this. I want to. We had the question. The question came up to me today of am I going to do a PHP roundtable Discord? And my response was, I don't know. It doesn't really fit, right? Because it's not a consistent panel. I mean, Discord works for PHPUgly because we're consistently here. We have our consistent listeners and our consistent contributors. There are other Discords. There are other PHP Discords out there that people can be a part of. I just don't know whether or not PHP Roundtable needs a dedicated Discord. I'm not discounting that I'm going to do it. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'll see once we get the show going again whether or not there's a need for it. But yeah, I'm excited.
Probably not. I think we could blend the two together. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. Darling Data, subscribe to YouTube. Looking forward to new apps. Thank you, Darling Data. Do we have intro outro? No, Tom, that's our intro outro music. No, we do not.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, there is established music for
paid for it. We'll use
PHP table. There is established music out there. So I'm super excited. And so now you understand, I almost blew this so many times. I almost shared my coding session as I was migrating their website from 5.7 to
okay,
8.
John didn't experience that, but wow, he almost just live streamed coding the site for it. Like it was
I was
so bad.
And I had it, and then of course PHP Roundtable, PHPUgly. I keep saying the words. I keep typing the words in. So many times I almost typed in because I had PHP Roundtable on the mind so much over the last couple of weeks. Like in Discord and talking on the show, I almost blurted it out so many times, and I'm so happy I did it. So I'm super excited.
I swear to God, if you're doing PHP Roundtable. And if you're doing PHP Roundtable and you don't show up in Austin, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna like the podcast that's known for meeting people personally at events and interviewing them in like the lobbies of hotels, and you don't show up.
What are you talking about?
Roundtable used to do that.
Yeah,
Roundtable was huge for doing at the convention episodes.
That's actually the first time I met Sammy.
Yeah, me
Sammy
too.
K was at Laricon, and he was sitting in the lobby with Taylor, Jeffrey Way. There was a third person there. I don't know if it was Adam or not. And he was
that was Laricon, Louisville.
Yeah, exactly.
When I think Roundtable, the first thing I think of is Laricon, Louisville. So if you're not at Longhorn, I will lose it. Straight up lose it.
He's trying to guilt you into going now.
No, it's not guilt. It's not guilt. This is a straight up threat.
So I honestly do feel a little bad after last week's show because I know this is way more exciting for me. I'm sorry, buddy. This is way more exciting for me probably than it is. Everybody else is like, oh, great, another podcast. Who gives a shit? You know?
Dude, are you kidding me? I've always wanted to be on Roundtable. Now I get my chance.
So this is exciting. This is very exciting to me, and I was blown away when I saw the email from Sammy. And
this was your consolation prize for not getting release manager.
Well, yeah, if you were release manager, you wouldn't have the time to do this.
I know. I'm already stressing about that because I overextended myself already. But this thing, it's gonna be organic, man. It's gonna happen. Like it is what it is, and we'll see where it goes. And yeah, I'm so excited to be part of this. And I hope everybody listens to the show. And yeah, I hope you guys aren't too disappointed.
No, not at all. It's exciting.
I'm very excited. I'm actually kind of glad it's not a Saas that might fail.
Yeah, I told John, I'm like, dude, I need more this week. Like what I have sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck, but it's just not enough. We need to release this. John's like, nah, I don't think so. I'm like, please, dude, please.
It's so not ready.
Sad Eric is difficult to deal with. I'm glad this will not produce a sad Eric.
Last week, I realized I had taken away admin privileges from Tom John, and he wasn't seeing the special Patreon only herd channel.
Let's be clear, it wasn't admin privileges. It was membership privileges. I was not allowed to be in the Patreon channel.
That's right. I booted his ass. So
I will never mute you again.
What's even funnier is he still hasn't realized what I did to him during that show on the audio version. So I still have
never
that.
Will.
That's special.
Never will.
No, you don't ever listen to the audio version.
Nope, never gonna.
And I have that special feeling in my heart of what I did to your stream for that. So yes. Frank. So Frank in our Discord, I talked about leaking. I've been so paranoid. So John caught on. Again, this is getting interweaved with Diego Dev and stuff. But I had created a PHP Roundtable channel in our Discord, and I have it as I have it as private. And I'm pretty sure if I have it as private, people can't find it because that's where I have honeybadger.io reporting to honeybadger.io, the official sponsor of PHPUgly, maybe PHP Roundtable. I don't know, Honey Badger. What do you think? Huh? But I have it reporting to a channel in our Slack channel, and I'm like, wait, can they see this? Like, can they? Maybe they can't join it, but maybe they can find it. You know. So I thought maybe like people were seeing the Discord channel in there.
But so you brought up Frank. Why is that? Did you ask him or?
No, Frank's in our Discord. He said, "I'm very excited." That's very exciting.
Oh, I thought that played into this whole hidden channel thing.
Yeah, no, I've been very paranoid that our Diego Dev employees were going to find out because I couldn't remember if a private channel was hidden from other people.
You could ask me, and I could tell you it is hidden because I can't see it.
All right, I've got some stuff to close this out.
Let's do it.
And it's not doom and gloom. It's good news.
That's awesome to hear.
FTC has voted unanimously to enforce right to repair.
That's great.
Oh, wow. That is great.
For those of you who don't know, right to repair is different in the U.S. than it is in other countries. The United States already operates under what is known as the
Oh,
I lost it. Oh, damn it. Really wanted to sound like I knew exactly what I was talking about. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, which basically said those warranty void if broken stickers mean nothing, and that you are allowed to repair. Yes, since 1975, those stickers have meant nothing. They're not legally enforceable, and if someone tries to enforce them, you can fine them. You can get them fined a lot of money. That's why you don't really see them anymore, is because about 10 years ago, someone sued the ever-living crap out of Sony and Microsoft and easily won in court because this is a standing decision. This law requires the specifications for repair of devices as well as the components to be provided by the manufacturer. So this isn't just like you can repair your phone. This is your warranty isn't void if you do repair your phone, and you can go to the Apple website and buy official replacement parts. This is a huge move forward. It's not quite in the position of legally enforceable yet because it's just an FTC decision, but it's a huge move forward, and I'm super excited about it. And it also means that the little kiosk stores that fixed phones that you saw 10 years ago might be showing back up again, because if you hadn't noticed, they kind of disappeared. So right to repair is in the news. That's great. There was a release of the State of the Developer Ecosystem from JetBrains. It's boring.
Why is it boring?
It's just it's nothing. Everyone's running PHP 7.4. 76% of people. Only 34% of people are on PHP 8 in any form.
That's good to me. Wait, you're saying between PHP 7.4 and 8 is 100% of the market? You said 74.
No, this is a multiple choice. This is a multiple choice question about what environments are you developing in. So only 34% of all developers in PHP are using PHP 8. The reason I say that 76% of PHP 7.4 is bad is because it has 4 months left.
7.4. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's decent. I mean, I don't know.
I'd like to see people moving to 8. 74% of people develop in local environments. People don't use Xdebug, even though it exists and it's great. 67%. Yeah, I know. 67% of people are using Laravel in a project.
Wow. Of the people who responded to this survey, 67%, so more than half the developers out there are using Laravel.
Yeah. And 24% are responded. Yeah, 24% of them are using Symfony, not understanding that Laravel runs on Symfony. So weird to me, but whatever.
Why do you say that? What's weird about that? That just what?
I mean,
Laravel runs on Symfony.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to stir the pot.
I funny because everyone that said Laravel should have also checked off Symfony because they are using.
I don't think that would be a fair statement.
But
okay, go ahead.
I'm not here for fair statements.
You're here to piss people off.
Yeah. 84% of people are not using asynchronous libraries whatsoever.
Asynchronous libraries. Okay.
63% of people use PHP unit. 28% of people don't test their code at all. Somebody's
63% of the people use PHP Storm. Only 1% use Vim. 1% of PHP developers.
This is a survey by JetBrains. I wasn't going to include that because it's easily the most biased question in the whole thing.
That's true. Very valid. I'm going to say whether you use PHP Storm, VS Code, Sublime, or Vim, or Atom, which are all on this list, learn Vim bindings. It will change your life. I promise you.
I agree with them.
And finally,
go ahead, Tom. Don't finish.
Finally, Laravel News published a blog called "Look at What's Coming to Laravel 9." Eric, this is on your
I saw this.
This is on your board. Did you read it?
I told you not to do that to me, man.
I'm doing it very particularly on purpose.
No,
because
I
is
read
an,
it, but I don't remember it.
It is an empty article that says to be updated in the future.
Actually, this anonymous stub migrations seems kind of cool. Anonymous stub migrations is cool. So if you worked in Laravel long enough, you've probably run into the problem of naming like multiple migrations the same thing. This Laravel anonymous stub migrations, which is actually in 8.37, will now be the default in Laravel 9.
Right.
Actually removes that collision, that name collision.
So you've zeroed in on the only thing that isn't actually new in PHP in Laravel 9.
What do you want from me? Hey, did I tell you I'm the host of PHP Roundtable?
Laravel 9 is going to require PHP 8, so Tom, you'll get your wish.
That's true.
So Laravel 9 will require PHP 8. The reason that's not news is that 7.4 will not be supported after December. Laravel 9 will not launch until January. So that should be assumed. You don't release a new...
Again, you should be happy about, Tom. They pushed the release date of Laravel 9 back. They're not just releasing in September because it's when they said they were going to release. They're pushing it to January because Symfony isn't releasing until whatever.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
So you should be happy. You should be happy.
Here's where I'm not. Here's where I'm not happy is that they made the ridiculous mistake in the same paragraph of saying, so moving forward, Laravel 10 is January 2023 and Laravel 11 is 2024 January. Why would you bother extrapolating that information if you know that it's going to change? Don't bother saying, hey, Laravel 11's in 2024 January. It's obviously not going to be. There's a pointless extrapolation of data. This article's filling space. And then it says, and much more.
Well, you're the one that put it in the show notes.
It's so... why write an article if there's nothing to write about?
You're the one that's giving it time. You're literally, you just waste our time talking about it. Where's the card at? I don't see the card.
It's on your...
there's no...
Oh, it's on... whatever. Moved it over. All right.
I said and finally. That's
and
it.
Finally.
If you want to hear more of Eric, I guess go to PHP Roundtable. That's his thing. He's breaking up with me and John.
Coming up. Breaking up is not that hard to do after all.
I apologize. Breaking up with John and I, or John and me.
John and I like that better. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. You can't pull me. You can't stop me from doing this podcast.
Could not physically move me. That is correct.
Many have tried. Okay, I think that is it.
Yes.
Episode 246, full of new interesting things, is in the book. I'm Eric.
I'm going to do a roundtable every day now, trying to catch up to the 246. I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all.
And yes, they can hear us during this part.
Freestyle you can cherish.
I know they can.
I'ma send a shout out
to
the
can't hear the music.
Exactly.
But I'm gonna act like it. I'm acting like I am.
Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song.
I found half a bottle of scotch that I didn't know I had, and I just put a big hurting on it.
Unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this because the people love me.
Who stores their scotch in the toilet basin? That's weird.
Ugly because it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting. I perfume the room Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications.
I hate not
hearing
music. I don't think anybody should hear
together
music
on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. That's true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it.
You
know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing.
Kevin, we're talking
Keep
over the
it
rap because we
ugly.
can't hear it.
Ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
We can enjoy it. You can
Hey,
enjoy
shout
it.
out to y'all. Peace.
Yeah.
So you guys want to hear something funny?
No.
John has. Can I share your kid's first name?
Yeah. Okay.
John has a child named Nolan. We have an employee at Diego Dev who has a kid named Ryan. I swear to God, I've called John's kid Nolan Ryan probably a dozen times. And I will continue to call him Nolan Ryan because I think that should have been his name. And his other kid even has a better, well, for me, a better name because it's Batman related. But I'll digress from there. So I keep calling John's kid Nolan Ryan because it just rolls off the tongue. I think about. Good.
It's funny because I call him Rainy because that's the dog's name, and they both are troublemakers. And when I go to yell, it's just Rainy, and I'm often talking to the kid.
The dog's name was
I realize that's not the kid's birthday, but I think of that every time and how I keep calling Nolan Ryan because you know who has Ryan, right?
Yeah.
In our group. Yeah.
He said he almost named his second Nolan, or vice versa.
Right, and I was telling him, like, why the hell didn't you? Like,
because
that would have been perfect.
He's a huge baseball fan.
I know he is. He's the one I went to the ball game with.
When?
So I didn't tell you guys. He got tickets to the Nationals game and said, "Hey, you want to go catch the Nationals game?" I'm like, "Yeah." You missed this. We talked about it on the show. I think you were out. But I got a funny story to tell you guys. I haven't talked about it on the show, and you guys hanging out with us in Discord, you're welcome to it. So, you guys know I adopted that cat, right? We have a new cat, Bug. I made the joke of how the kids and wife call him Bug. I call him Feature, and I had to explain the whole thing. And anyways, so. David, I just gave his name away. David just asked me. He said, "Hey, you want to go to the ball game? I got tickets to the Nationals game, or I can get tickets to the Nationals game." And I'm like, I don't know if I want to get. I'm ready to go to a baseball game, but it's the Nationals. It's the Padres. Sure, let's go. And so he gets the tickets, right? And like I said, we end up going. After he gets the tickets, he says, "Yeah, I got the tickets. We're good to go." I'm like, "Great." We adopt this cat. And the wife ends up driving up to just north of Temecula. I forget what that area is called. If you're not from San Diego, it's about an hour north of where we live. Yeah, that sounds right. And she gets this cat, and it's from some humane society up there. And she got it because one of the people that work at the hospital, they were fostering the cats. There's a whole story. It doesn't matter. She goes up there to get it, and they're like, "Hey." Because you adopted the cat, we're going to enter you into this drawing where you can go to a Lake Elsinore game. A Lake Elsinore, that's the minor league A level ball club for the San Diego Padres, which is where we live in San Diego. That's who we went and saw, San Diego Padres and the Nationals. No sooner than like a week later, she gets a phone call. She's like, "Hey, you won the tickets." She won a suite for the Lake Elsinore Storm up in again about an hour from San Diego. So I called Dave. I'm like, hey, man, you got me tickets to the Nationals game. You guys want to go see a Storms game? We go up to Lake Elsinore. We've got like this little suite. Now, it's a minor league A team, A ball. So it's not like a suite like at the Padres Stadium, but it's still a suite. Like we have our own little space. We have food and all this other stuff. We go to a little Lake Elsinore game. And so we're there. We take the whole family. I mean, the suite holds like a dozen people, and so we take our whole family. We have the two kids. They have their partners. We all go up there, and no sooner does Dave walk in with his kids and his wife. They walk in, and we're doing like, hey, the game had already started. We were like in the middle of the first inning. We're like, hey, how are you doing? And all of a sudden we hear everybody yelling, and we hear this whiz, and a ball comes flying into our suite and like crashes against the wall, and like it bounces, and I pick it up and I hand it to Dave's kid. I'm like, boom, boom, here, kid, welcome to the game. So it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Eric Stubbs Zencaster.
Oh shit! You should have told me that a while ago. Where the fuck is Zencaster?
I wish I could stick around, but I got to go prepare for my kid's birthday. I got to go.
Oh yeah,
the kid is going to have a lot of birthdays. Tom, John. I'm sorry.
You need to drink more.
Just do what I did. It was my buddy's birthday a couple weeks ago, so I bought him a get well soon balloon with a puppy on it.
Yeah, yeah. On that note,
right.
Bye. Talk to you all later.
Bye.
I'm excited about PHP Roundtable, Tom.
I can tell. I'm excited about Microsoft Linux.
We didn't even get to that story. I had that in my list.
I know. It's been a good episode. So
it took a little bit to get started.
I need people to play Destiny with. If you play Destiny, reach out. Because I am now.
What's Destiny?
It's a somewhat massive multiplayer shooter.
It's a shooter?
Yeah. It's a great game. And I've sort of topped off like
Destiny 2?
Yeah. I've gone as far as I can get without having friends who play.
Is this a Steam thing?
It's on Steam now. It wasn't for a long time. It's
Are
Bungie.
you on Steam when you play it, or
yeah. But it's
okay.
Bungie, which is the Halo company. So this headache situation is scary. I don't like it.
You'll be fine. Hey, I'm sure it's some front or some sinus. Like somebody mentioned sinuses. You know, you're getting old, man. The stuff sticks around.
Yeah,
for
I
a
don't
long
need the
time.
reminder though.
As long as you're not like smelling
birthday,
toast
Kevin.
or something, you're good. Happy birthday, Kevin. Oh, you share a birthday with John's kid? Are you John's kid, Kevin? Is there something you want to tell us? You can be honest with us. No, don't be honest. I would hide that too.
Did you see the picture I posted into Discord?
I saw the picture you posted to me.
Yeah, that's different.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What you post in Discord?
I have
$1,000.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I have a line of code now.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And the story behind that is even worse. I just don't want to get into it on the air. But yes, I have an API call now that has the line industry type equals other don't use. And it was requested by my coworker to make sure that the shrug was in there in the comment officially.
So
yes.
Let's see who's
So my friend got a steak shipped to him for his birthday, and it is a certified A5 Wagyu, and it was $1,000.
Jesus Christ! Why would
Uh,
you put so much money in the meat? That seems like a lot of money in meat.
You have to understand the relationship that they have. His best friend is very appreciative of things that his family did for him when he was much younger. But he took it to the butcher today and got it sliced up into 8 1-inch steaks so that he could deep freeze it. And now that John is gone, I can actually post it in the Discord.
No, well, I guess you can if you want, but I got to be honest with you again because John is gone. I've had Wagyu before. I've had Wagyu actually recently. It wasn't as mind blowing as everybody makes it out to be.
Well, this
Have
is
you
not.
ever had Wagyu?
No, so this isn't just Wagyu though. That's the thing. Is that this is A5. So there's a very nice certificate that comes with it.
Let me see.
And
Yeah,
this is the best steak you can buy. I mean, just look at that picture of his arm next to it. It's like,
I know.
and that slice is $140.
I believe it.
And here's the other part: is that he is an expert cook. So he is going to sous vide that to like 160 and then sear it on the grill for about 3 seconds per side. And it is going to be one of the greatest tasting things I've ever had. Guaranteed.
Oh, you get to get some of it, huh?
Oh yeah, Saturday.
Nice.
Like Saturday is all of his friends, our friends, are going to his house. Last Saturday we went to his house and we had ribs that were smoked for 18 hours. I mean, he knows his shit. He knows his shit. He is so good, and it's gonna be.
Does he have he has a smoker then?
Yeah, he has a big pellet smoker.
I don't know if you remember me talking about it. My nephew down in Texas, he's a big smoker, and yeah, I mean that's like it's like an entire like 2-day event.
Yeah,
you know, some of the shit he does, and it's just so good. I'm thinking about getting a smoker myself. I just don't know if I have the patience for it, or enough forethought to know what I want to eat tomorrow to start cooking.
I mean, look at that! Just look at that marbling on that is insane. And then every component of it is graded on the certificate. So like the marbling depth, the richness, the color is all graded like individually line by line. We have the name of like the number of the cow that it's from. I don't have the old picture of the certificate, but whew.
I believe you.
Well, he taught us how to make. He taught us how to make fettuccine Alfredo. And it's like we can't even go to Olive Garden anymore because it's just a waste of money.
That's the problem. I say this all the time. Like my wife and I have gone to a couple of nice restaurants. It's like it ruins you. Like if you, I always say this about flying first class. Don't ever fly first class unless you can fly first class, because once you do it, it ruins you. Like you can't not fly first class anymore because it just blows you. Same thing with like really good food. It's like if you go to a nice place, a place that makes steaks properly, you're fucked. Like you can't go anywhere and get like normal steaks anymore. It just tastes like garbage. I'm not garbage. I shouldn't say that, but it does satisfy that need.
100%.
Yeah.
Olive Garden now tastes like garbage. Like
it's completely
bizarre.
My kid makes this seafood pasta thing with like shrimp and chicken and spicy and all that. It is so freaking good. And like when we go out, I see things that are like it, and I get it. I'm like, this sucks. Like I mean,
Yeah.
my kid to make their thing.
Yeah, that it's
You know.
you get absolutely right. And since he started making food for the group of us every Saturday, it's like we don't go to barbecue places, we don't go to Italian places. His food is so much better. And like I literally the day that he made the fresh Alfredo sauce for us, I went home and threw away the Alfredo sauce I had in the fridge. I was so upset about it that I just threw food away. This is not Alfredo sauce. The fuck have they been trying to pull? I've done this for 40 years. God damn it. I was so upset.
Yeah. I hear you. I know exactly what you're saying. And I think as you get older, it gets worse. Like you realize there's something in your head like I don't have much time. Like I don't want those steaks anymore. I want these steaks, you know?
Well, I was talking to my therapist yesterday, and she was saying that the thing that she keeps noticing is that the children of our generation keep thinking that they should start employment where their parents are currently employed. You know, like they should be making as much as us. They should be as experienced as us, or they should have like the good jobs we have. And I'm like, it's the same for food and for cars and all that stuff. Like I bought a Mustang when I was barely employed because I'm an idiot. And I thought, hey,
I think we all do that, right? We'll all buy.
But I think that's the thing is like,
afford.
As you get older, you start to learn how to appreciate the nice things. Our kids can't even. We gave my son some of the fresh fettuccine Alfredo, and he said it tasted like pizza. Thanks, Mom, and went back to playing Call of Duty. And I was like, "What the fuck, dude? Go away."
They don't have the experience. They don't have the appreciation. Yeah, I know. I get it.
All right, thank you everybody for listening. I'm going to kill the stream now. Thank you to our Patreons.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Very much, Honey Badger, and